What concerns did you have coming in, though, into a business where there was a founder and it was a sole owner, and you're coming in and she's saying, yes, I want you to do this, but there had to be some stuff going on in your head. Is this going to really turn out to be the way I want it to be? And is she going to let the reins go? Is she going to really let me empower me? What were some of those things going through your mind?
Yeah, I mean, it's interesting to think about that retrospectively because honestly, in the beginning, it felt like a big old honeymoon. It was like we were four pieces to a puzzle. We had the founder who had the great idea and proved a concept out and really had gotten her business to the point where she was like, I don't know what else to do. I want to grow. I don't know how to do it. She is extremely humble from that perspective and really was looking for guidance. And so the dynamics at play really lent itself to starting with a real vision and a plan. And she was the first to say, I know nothing about franchising. She had built a very strong brand. That is her value, is sort of the aesthetics of the experience and the brand. And I could just go on and on about how just special what she built is. But then the work became synthesizing her model for scale. So there was a time in which we sort of took what New built and put it through the franchise audit. And the output was then something that we could all say we had ownership in. So it's really evolved out of what New created in 2007, as it should have. I mean, that's a
Sure.
long time ago. And that's not to say it's all been sunshine and roses. We're learning as we go, sort of how we continue to support each other in our respective roles. But we have a very clear vision, which is not about any of us individually, and really about how do we maximize the opportunity right in front of us. Because I can say now, having been actively franchising for 5 years, we've barely scratched the surface. And Sit Still really does evoke oh my gosh, we need this in our backyard yesterday response. It really explains itself,
Right.
which feels really good. Boutique fitness was a completely different sell because there was a lot of competition.
It sounds like, though, that the reason why this worked so well, besides the fact that you guys had franchise experience, is New being humble, having that humility and willingness to trust you all. And at the same time, you guys, the ladies, were honoring her vision, and you guys all believed in her vision. You guys were all rowing in the same direction. And I
Yes.
think it's the combination of that where you're going to honor her vision like she's got something special, and her willingness and being open-minded to letting people come into her home and basically help raise her child.
Yeah, that's exactly right. That's exactly right. And I think for her, the learning curve, which we really learned at Bar 3, which was also a very brand forward concept. It was all about over investing in branding, in visuals, and aesthetics to support an elevated client experience. That's what gets me going. I'm attracted to brands that could be a franchise, but don't present like a franchise because there's such energy and a culture and it doesn't feel templated.
Right.
And that does take more work on the back end in
That's
every
true.
aspect of the business. This is not cut and paste. This requires a deeper level of understanding what makes a marketplace tick and how do you match make the right owner with that marketplace to make the vision come to life. Like, I love all that. And sure, what New was able to do was say, here's what makes this brand so special. And then we put that through, like I said, sort of the synthesis of how does this become a franchise and how do you coach operationally on that?
Right.
And that is what we've really mastered over the past 5 years.
And also, you really gave her a great compliment in that I don't think there's no greater compliment for a founder for somebody to walk into a business and not realize it's a franchise, because it doesn't feel like a copy and paste, right? Of just a typical templated store. And it just, sometimes you can tell when you walk in, like this is such a franchise. It feels cold. It feels soulless sometimes.
Yeah. Right.
In some businesses. And it sounds like agree. You guys did a great job to be able to keep that energy and feeling that vibe, like, wow, this is something special. Is this a franchise?
Yeah. Yeah, that's exactly right. I mean, I'm on the front end of the inquiries and interests that comes in around franchising. And a lot of those inquiries are from clients who are like, I then went back to the website because I was so wowed by the experience. I wanted to learn more about the company, and I see that you franchise.
Wow,
I'd
that's
like to
awesome.
learn more, which is the best validator.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Somebody gets your kid's haircut and then decides they want to open a kid's hair salon. I mean, that really says something.
Well, with that said, let's go over some of the numbers, Amy. How many franchise locations are open now?
We have 24 locations open.
And in how many states?
We're in 14 states.
Wow. Okay. And do we have any franchise locations that are coming soon in development?
We do. We have 44 sold, not open locations, which is a big number, but points back to our growth strategy, which is multi-unit development, meaning of the 24 that are open, a lot of those owners have their second, third locations coming soon, which is that balance of the 44. We do definitely have some owners in the mix that are in the process of opening their first salon. It's a real kind of mix of existing owners and new owners.
Well, there's no greater compliment than that when a franchise owner wants to buy another location.
Yeah. 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 Most of ours do and are in contract to open, 3, if not. We've sold our largest multi-unit development agreement earlier this year in the Midwest to someone who's opening 15 Sit Stills.
Oh my. Are you still open to selling a single unit at this moment, or only multi-unit locations?
We are, but I would say that's the exception, not the rule, and is pretty marketplace specific. What we have found is that this is a business model that really scales when there are multiple locations within a market, and we would like those multiple locations to be owned by one owner for a multitude of reasons. But you really start to feel the efficiencies of the model once you've got multiple doors open, because as you can imagine, then you potentially are bringing in a general manager. You're able to really find those efficiencies and build the brand in a market. Yeah.
How many
doesn't do that?
When you sell a multi-unit franchise agreement, how many locations ideally or what are some of the options that people have to signing up?
The default is generally 3 locations. You think about marketplaces, and these are markets that we're in: Phoenix, Scottsdale, Austin, Nashville, Louisville. Those are all based on our demographics, like multi-salon marketplaces. So if an owner comes in and commits to 3, we are then essentially giving them the rights to develop that entire market over time. I would much rather double down with a proven operator than bring somebody new in who we know less about. We will do that, and in markets that are 8 to 12 salon potential, it often makes sense that you have 2, if not 3 owners. We're not really there yet, given just our infancy and how many doors we have open. But it is proving to be the right growth strategy. We have owners currently who have 3 doors open, and they are absolutely feeling the fruits of that investment in a bigger way.
Thank you for tuning into the Emerging Franchise Brands podcast. For additional insights, guest applications, and to stay connected, visit us at efbpodcast.com. The Emerging Franchise Brands podcast is for entertainment purposes only, and the views expressed do not necessarily represent those of Emerging Franchise Brands, its host Frank Fumey, or Emerging Franchise Group LLC. Any discussed franchise or investment opportunity requires thorough investigation, obtaining proper disclosure documents, and expert consultation before making any investment decisions. The podcast and its host do not offer professional advice or endorsements, and they hold no responsibility for actions, representations, accuracy, or consequential damages related to the podcast content.